is Dylan Cram, and this is my exhibition at Xchanges, my solo show called The Filmic Eye. I was born in Victoria, grew up here, went to the Victoria College of Art, which is now defunct, I believe, graduated around 2000, spent 8 years in Montreal at Concordia and working in the film industry, which plays a role in this show a little bit. And then I lived in Berlin for 10 years, working for some very well-known artists and installing exhibitions in galleries, and got my master's at the Bauhaus in 2017. And now I'm a teacher at Camosun College in the arts. Yeah. That's my background, and I guess I'll give you a tour of the show if you like. You can start over here at the first painting of the show. It's to the left of the door. Kind of sets the stage for some of the narratives that I'm constructing. So you have a kind of enclosed bit of acting, possibly bad acting. There is a pained expression, a kind of vagueness, some cloudiness, this sense of being trapped in your own kind of helmet enclosure. This is a film still, and I've embellished it to make it incredibly rich. It's painted on linen with oil and lots of transparent glazes. And then there's the title or the poster image, which is, it's an early moment in this tour, but it's a bit of an in-joke with myself. It plays a couple of different roles. It is, it's an optical trick. I'm talking about the camera, which is a monocular device. We as humans see binocular. And it is a film still and a nucleation of a priest's eye, which connects to like the history of art, the George Bataille's story of the eye. And it's probably taken out of one of the sequels of the Da Vinci Code. So a bit of a schlocky movie. It's a bit of a gimmick. And it is meant to kind of like address some of the other themes in this show. It's also meant to play off of this next painting, which is one of the newer paintings in the show. It's a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit too close to the subject. It's over-dramatized expression. There is a combination of colors that is like a little bit ugly and a little bit off-putting, even though this is a kind of femme fatale sex object from Hollywood cinema. It is Sharon Stone from Basic Instinct. But even she's a little bit unrecognizable. To the right and up above is a lamp hung quite high and just close enough to force a kind of narrative relation between the two. If you stand back far enough, you might see all three paintings relating to each other. You might begin to understand that this is a different kind of hanging than normal. This painting of the lamp is from a backdrop of another film. It's in the background, but it does kind of connect over to the eye of the other painting to the left. Possibly the glint in her eye is part of this lamp light. And I want you to start to think outside the singular frame of each painting and start to make relationships happen between disparate objects. So there are a series of props painted in this show. Beside this other lamp, we have a desk lamp and an old telephone. Stuck in the corner, roughly a desk height. This is meant as a kind of bridge to kind of confuse and throw in a wild card and start to create a narrative about placement. The objects are all from different films and they're randomly placed together. But basically this one the color scheme forces you to make an association with the next painting. And the light is also shining on the helmet of this next Russian space race kind of icon. His gaze is very classical, very austere, a little bit romantic. Could be he could be on horseback, but in this case he's in a film spacesuit from a 1940s movie called Planète de Bourg. I have him forcing the gaze of the viewer to the right. That was loud. So the gaze of the viewer begins to move to the right to the next painting, which is kind of internalized drama. A bit of a romantic notion. It's the classical, pretty female of a bygone era. So this is a 1980s sci-fi with its, a certain hairstyle, the orange color cast, the warm light, and this moment of contemplation. And so this is again meant to extend the perception of whatever narrative is going on in this show, and it's getting a little fragmented and pulled apart. I've hung the paintings a little bit too far apart on purpose, so that you're starting to not know if paintings are relating to each other, or to the one beside it, or to the one before it. And this is possibly brought to a point in this next painting where I've taken a prop and divided it in half in order to pull your eye apart, which is the idea in the whole hanging of the show, that there is a narrative here, but it's been extracted from film. Each painting is a different extraction of a narrative, and then the show itself is a bunch of different narratives stitched together, and I'm playing with the hanging and the breaking of space and the distance between objects to force you to make a kind of connection, even if there isn't one there. The light in this lamp painting connects to the light in the previous painting, even though they're from different eras and different times in film history or television history. And then we have this next painting kind of counteracts the blue painting of Sharon Stone for Basic Instinct, and it is a highly dramatic piece. It's a villain. It's sort of the presence of evil or anger or rage in its original form as a film still. It's from, I'm going to say, an early 2000 movie about some sort of prison in space, I think. I can't even remember the name of the movie. It wasn't a hit. With this one, I'm playing a bit of a game. I'm giving you all the tropes of evil and villainy and bad guys, and presenting that portrait in one sense, and then taking it away and adding another element on top. If you look really closely, you won't see this on camera, but the figure is blushing. There's a hot red color buried in the paint, wet on wet painting at the very end of the painting process. And I did that in order to make him blush, to present two different kinds of emotion at the same time. The one that is projected by the typecasting, I guess, and the other one that is painted on top. So they kind of interact with each other and they kind of fight each other. His grimace might begin to soften once you understand that he's blushing. He also has one eye, so that refers back to the monocular device in the previous painting. And then finally, the last painting of the show is again that point of a monocular device, a camera, the way that you have to squint one eye to focus through a camera. And this painting's called Hunter-Gatherer because of the act of gathering through the camera and through my own process of selecting images out of films, hundreds of films, thousands of images to find just the right image. And this is the last piece in the series because of its direction, and it points to the left, it points back through the show that you just walked through. And yeah, that's the Filmic Eye in a nutshell, hopefully.